Hello, everybody, and welcome to JoyConCast Episode 1. I'm your host, Nicholas, and welcome to my brand new weekly Nintendo-focused podcast. So, before we get into the very first episode of this brand new show, I guess a little background. First off, welcome to the show. So this used to be Switch Buzz. It was a Nintendo-focused YouTube channel, and it basically focused on Nintendo Switch news, rumors, games, releases, all that kind of stuff. And in all honesty, I didn't really enjoy the content that I was putting out under that name and the style of content that I was making for the channel. And I really wanted to just sit down and instead of making 10-minute videos a week or making individual videos on, particular Switch news, I really felt like I'd rather make an hour-long podcast of sorts talking about Nintendo Switch news throughout the week or stuff like that, and that's what I decided to do. So that's what this show is. It's going to be a weekly podcast, and it's going to focus on Nintendo Switch stuff. Some weeks we'll have news, some weeks we'll talk about rumors, some weeks I'll have debates, some weeks I'll talk about whatever, and we'll kind of go from there. So hopefully you end up enjoying the podcast. Hopefully you continue to listen to it weekly. Right now it's only going to be available on YouTube. I am planning on bringing more streaming services, more podcast services I should say, in the future. But for right now, it is available on YouTube. If you want to follow the show and keep up to date with anything regarding it, you can follow us on Twitter. The link will be in the description down below. If you want to support the show, you can find a Patreon link in the description down below as well. Any support means the world to me. But above all else, if you guys enjoy the podcast at all, leaving a like, commenting, and sharing is the way to go. With all that plugging and all that nonsense out of the way, welcome to episode 1. This week we are going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct that killed the Drought, the February 13th Direct. This is the first Direct of the year, and personally, overall, I would say, I'll kind of share my thoughts at the very end, of course, but I enjoyed the Direct. I think for the first Direct of 2019, it had a lot going for it, and there was a lot of hype behind it, and I think it definitely lived up to it. We had over, I think, 26, 27 some games announced, or else gameplay showed, or else release dates confirmed, somewhere something like that, in only 35 minutes, which is pretty crazy. And the pacing was definitely decent. There were times where it definitely focused on particular games, and it went really in depth with those. But overall, I would say that tons of games, tons of great announcements. I'm not going to go through everything. I'll kind of mention some of the highlights for me. Most everything was a highlight, but there were a few things that just don't stick out at all to me. But I want to go ahead and get into it. And the very first announcement was Super Mario Maker 2. And I think this was a fantastic way to open up the show. Open up the Direct. I know a lot of people who really wanted Mario Maker on Switch in the form of a port or deluxe or remaster, or I don't know if many people thought a sequel, but I am excited for this. I never played Mario Maker on Switch or on Wii U. I think around the time that came out, it was kind of the end for Wii U. It was definitely towards the end of its life cycle, and I think I was playing other games at the time, and it was never in my radar. I feel like I missed out. Definitely, but I'm excited that it's on Switch. I'm excited it's on the newest platform. I'm very excited to get my hands on it when it comes out. Based on the kind of the gameplay or the footage that they showed, it does look like it has a slightly new art style, new features. There's slopes, looks like there's new items, new enemies, all that good stuff. And from kind of the box art, I think there's definitely going to be possibly 4-player co-op. I saw Mario and Luigi. There's definitely going to be 2-player co-op of some sort, but it looks like I saw some other Toads on there as well. So there may be co-op with other people, which if they could integrate somehow with the Switch Online service, that'd be another game to benefit from that. But all in all, I'm excited. I think that Mario Maker as a game to get a sequel is odd. I definitely think it works somewhat better as a maybe as a service, because I know a lot of people spent a lot of time in the first Mario Maker. I know a lot of people who streamed it or else made some sort of YouTube content based off of it. So to make it a sequel instead of just braining over Mario Maker and braining over everything that was done on the Wii U game, I'm sure Nintendo could figure out some way to do all of that and kind of treat it almost like a Minecraft game, where instead of getting Minecraft 2, we get Minecraft updates. Instead of getting Mario Maker 2, we would get Mario Maker updates. But nonetheless, it's coming to Switch. I'm very excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait to play it, especially online, making stages. It's gonna be fun. I'm wondering how they're gonna make it work on Switch. I know with Wii U it was a lot easier with the gamepad and a touch screen. I'm wondering how they're gonna do it on Switch. I mean, in handheld mode, ideally you would use the touch screen. I'm not sure if using your fingers is all that beneficial, but I'm sure it's Nintendo. I'm sure they'll figure out some way to make it work on Switch, whether you're docked or handheld. I would imagine either way, it's gonna be a pleasant experience. But let's move on. Enough Mario Maker. Moving on, they did announce and kind of show off some gameplay and show off some info regarding Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That is set for a summer 29 release, which is kind of a running theme of this direct. A lot of games are coming out this summer. It's going to be a very, very packed summer. But a summer 2019 release. We also saw some stuff with co-op. They kind of hit home with that. Captain Marvel was a big thing. Kind of to tie in, I guess, with the MCU and the upcoming Captain Marvel movie. I've never played Marvel Ultimate Alliance in the past. It's always interested me. I've always known about the games, but I've never got around to playing them. And I think they've always been multi-platform. And so it's very interesting that this particular game is exclusive to Switch. I'll take it. I'm excited for that. I'll definitely be picking this game up day one. I feel like I'm going to play this game religiously almost. I'm going to play this game so much. It does look a lot of fun. And again, it's set for a summer 2019 release. We didn't really get a lot, I guess, about the game. I mean, it did show stuff, stuff about the story, about taking out Thanos, and it included a lot of, like, the Avengers stuff and X-Men stuff, which is really, really cool. It's really cool in a world right now where franchises are owned by different companies and all that stuff, and exclusivities, but it's really nice to see the Avengers and the X-Men kind of come together. It's really, really nice, and I'm very excited to get my hands on this game. I feel like it's going to be a blast. I'm definitely very excited, especially since this is my first Ultimate Alliance game. It's going to be really cool to be playing it on Switch. But let's move on. The next game I'll talk about briefly, Box Boy is coming to Switch. It has an April 26th release date. They added Box Girl. So if Box Boy wasn't enough, Box Girl, it's basically a little puzzle platformer of sorts. I've heard of the series before. I've just never been interested in it. Maybe I'll end up picking this up on Switch if it ends up being anything outstanding at launch. I really don't think so. I mean, it looked fun, it looked interesting. It's just not my type of game, but it was cool. They did announce that there are 270, I think over 270 stages, so it has the most stages or puzzles in any Box Boy game yet, which is exciting if you enjoy Box Boy. I personally have never played the franchise. I just don't really care too much for those games, but maybe I'll end up playing it. It's been a minute since I've played a puzzle game, so who knows. Moving on, we also got almost kind of a pointless little tease Smash Ultimate 3.0 update is coming. It is set to release this spring. Joker is also coming this spring. By the end of April, before the end of April, actually, is when Joker is coming. We didn't see really anything in the direct regarding Joker. We saw kind of like an in-game model. We only saw the back of him, and it was very dark, and that was it. That's it. There was no gameplay. There was no showing off his moveset or anything like that. I have no doubt that he's coming along well, but I don't know. I would have liked to see something, but it's understandable that we didn't. But Joker is definitely an exciting character, coming by the end of April. But that's pretty much it for Smash. They announced the 3.0 update coming spring, and Joker coming out before the end of April. And I think that there's three more DLC packs for the Fighter Pass, because Piranha Plant was a pre-order thing, or it was a buy the game early, get it free type thing. I think that regarding the DLC for the Fighter Pass, I think those will come out every season, which would make sense. So if Joker comes out by the end of April, that's pretty much spring. And then sometime between, I would say June to August is summer. That could be another character. Release someone or announce a character at E3. Drop them by the end of the summer. There you go. And then we usually get a direct, usually in the fall time. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw if we saw a direct in like September or October. Announce a character then, release them by the end of November. I guess, yeah, and then like December or January of next year could be another character. I think that's what Nintendo will do. Kind of announce them at the very beginning of the season, drop them by the end. I think that would be perfect. I think that would be great, actually. It keeps the game getting new content, because every character, that's another thing, every character is getting their own music plus a stage. So there's a lot more than just the character design and moveset. There's more that goes into it. So that would be exciting if every season there's a new character. And I very much doubt that the Fighter Pass is it. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to continue to support the game with characters or stages or stuff like that outside, or I guess past the DLC pack, because DLC, especially with Smash for Wii U, it kept that game alive for a long time. Constantly adding new characters was very, very exciting, and I think that's something Nintendo will definitely do with Smash Ultimate. So drop a new DLC fighter pack character, whatever, every season, and then after that, I think we'll still see DLC coming for Smash Ultimate. I think it'd be foolish for Nintendo not to, personally, but that's definitely what I think is the plan. But as far as the Smash 3.0 update, it did say it was coming in spring. I think there'll be another Smash Focus Direct at some point. I'm trying to figure out when. It's February now. I definitely feel like Pokemon is a game that will get announced either right before E3, because usually Pokemon games get announced in May. That's usually when Pokemon games get announced. So I'm definitely thinking Pokemon will get an announcement in May. And that and Animal Crossing will probably be big focuses at E3. And then maybe a Smash Ultimate Direct comes out. It has to be like next month. Because if the update's out in the spring, I'm assuming Nintendo, well, maybe they don't even want a Direct. I feel like they would. I feel like we would get a Direct on Smash if Joker's coming out, a big 3.0 update's coming out. I would imagine if it was small enough to throw into this Direct, then it's big enough to have its own Direct when everything finally gets out there if that makes sense. I don't know. This bringing Smash into this direct, I feel like was Nintendo saying, well, Smash is our big game right now. We got to do something. Just sprinkle this in there. And that's fine and all, but it really didn't announce anything. We got confirmation that Joker's still coming, and we have an update on its way, but I mean, outside of that, I don't know. It felt like a weird announcement, and I feel like we should probably see a Smash Ultimate Direct at some point this spring before Joker comes out, before this 3.0 update. I'm assuming Joker's going to be tied with the 3.0. I think that would be the best way to go. Either way, that's Smash Ultimate. Moving on after that, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is getting some love. This has been on the Switch for a while now. However, some new content is actually coming to the game. There's a free update, and I believe it's out now. There's a free update adding co-op support across all existing puzzles. So if you've been meaning to play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker with a loved one or a friend, now is the time. It's out now. It's a free update. So there's new co-op. There's also, surprisingly, paid DLC on its way. And I don't think it has a release date now, but I'm pretty sure you can buy the DLC. There's actually a bundle on the eShop, and I think it's like $45.98 or $45.99 to get the game plus the DLC bundle. But the DLC is not out yet. But if I'm not mistaken, you can buy the DLC now and actually get access to, I think, like the first stage, or you get access to a little bit of it. Nintendo kind of did stuff like this in the past with like Mario Kart, I believe, where you could buy the DLC and you get a little bit now, but it's actually not available yet. So that's news. I really didn't expect Captain Toad of all games to get updates, especially since this was originally on Wii U. And if I'm not mistaken, it was on 3DS as well, I think. So it is interesting. The free updates are nice. The paid DLC is a little interesting, but it does have new stages, so new puzzles, stuff like that. Basically, more game. And like I said, the free updates are out now. The bundles on the eShop. I'm actually considering. I played the demo that was on Switch, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I didn't think it was worth $60 at launch. Not really. But for $45 plus the DLC, and there's a free update out now, I feel like that's kind of a steal, almost. So I may look into it. I would too if I were you. Of course, check your eShop. Take a look at it. It may be something that you're interested in. I think $45 for that game, plus getting DLC bundled with it. I believe the DLC is bundled with it. That's not bad at all. So I definitely look into that. Then real quickly, I do want to run through some games that were announced or else shown off at the Direct that I wasn't really all that interested about. Some of them I've kind of changed my mind about, and they actually seem very, very interesting now. But the first game, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, it kind of looks like a Castlevania platform of sorts. I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it when it was first shown off, but after rewatching the Direct a few times, after looking through the gameplay, it actually looks like something I might pick up if the price is right. It does look kind of fun, actually. It looks pretty interesting, so I'll have to look more into the game. This is set for a summer 2019 release. Like I said, quite a few games. Actually, I think most of the games that, some of the games I mentioned next are actually summer games. That's gonna make Switch a packed console this summer. The next game, Dragon Quest Builders 2. I was very skeptical about the first Dragon Quest Builders, and I never bought it. I really wanted to. It looked like Dragon Quest meets Minecraft. I'm pretty sure there was a story to it, but you basically built stuff. It looked fun. I played through the demo. I'm pretty sure there was a demo for that game on maybe the American eShop or maybe the Japanese eShop. and I just skipped it. I never got around to playing it. But the second one is coming out July 12th. And I've heard good things regarding the game. I've heard good things regarding it, so maybe I'll end up picking up the sequel. maybe. I don't know. It looked kind of fun. I was interested in it. Like, it did look kind of fun, but I never got around to actually picking it up. But again, that is set for a release on July the 12th. The next game, they actually another Dragon Quest game that they showed off a lot, and I wasn't really interested into it. I wasn't interested in it because I'm not interested in this game's franchise. But Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. What a title! What a title. It's set for a fall 2019 release. And I believe Dragon Quest XI was released in like 2017 in Japan. And then I think in last year it was brought over to the Americas on PlayStation and Xbox, and maybe, I'm pretty sure PC as well. But Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, it really is the definitive edition. I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot here in the country. Like, every game has a Game of the Year edition. Every game has a definitive edition. Every game has, and usually it's just the game with maybe like one or two new things. But other than that, it's really nothing definitive. But Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, that is a mouthful. Try saying that 3 times fast. It actually is the definitive edition. One thing you can do is change the art style to like a 16-bit art style, which you can't do on other games. You actually do get new stories, new side quests regarding characters. So you get new missions, basically, new side missions to do that wasn't available in the other versions. I think there's some more stuff with like voice acting and stuff like that. It really is, from what they showed off, it really is a definitive edition. And like I said, I've never been a big Dragon Quest guy. Maybe I'll look into this game when it releases. There's so many like RPGs and JRPGs that I'm playing, especially on Switch right now. I really don't know if I have the time for it. Maybe if I beat a couple by fall, then Dragon Quest will be my go-to game at that time. But it did show off quite a lot, and I think that if I was somebody who picked up this game on PlayStation or Xbox last year, like I said, they announced enough stuff that maybe I'd be like, should I have waited? Because there's actually quite a lot of stuff packed into this game. So very, very cool. Like I said, never really been into Dragon Quest, but they showed off a lot regarding the game. And it was kind of interesting as well that they did Dragon Quest Builders 2 back-to-back with Dragon Quest 11. They really went in depth with this game as well, which makes me think, with other past rumors or leaks, somebody from Dragon Quest, they might be a Smash Bros. They might be a Smash Brother. They might be a Smash Boy. They might be coming to Smash. I definitely think so. With past rumors of the Brave character potentially being a Dragon Quest, I don't think you even have to care about rumors or leaks to kind of think, why was there so much Dragon Quest in this direct? I mean, there's only 2 games, but they went into quite a bit of detail for both of them. So it's definitely very interesting. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to throw in Dragon Quest in the Direct this much, because it's making its way into Smash Bros. So that would be very exciting. But moving on, after Dragon Quest, the next little game. By the way, these weren't these games that I just showcased or just talked about weren't announced in order at the Direct. These are just bundles of games that I really don't care that much about, but I kind of wanted to get them out of the way. But the next game that I want to talk about, Rune Factory 4 Special is coming this year, and Rune Factory 5 has been confirmed. So I've never been into Rune Factory. If I'm not mistaken, it kind of looks like something like Harvest Moon, so maybe it'd be up my alley. But I've just never really cared to look into it. But Rune Factory 4 Special is coming. I can't say anything more than that because I really don't know anything about Rune Factory, but it's coming. And Rune Factory 5 is confirmed as well, which is exciting. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have been waiting for that and are excited to hear about that. Moving on. Starlink Battle for Atlas is actually getting an update. So it's getting an update this April, and basically it's getting new missions and it's adding more Star Fox characters. And I think from what I kind of got from the direct, you can basically play as other Star Fox characters and replay missions that Fox was able to play, I think. But they're also adding in new missions regarding Wolf and all that kind of good stuff. You basically have to take down Wolf. There's new missions, new stuff like that. And I have yet to pick this game up. I do want to play it at some point. I just haven't found the time to. But I definitely want to pick this game up. And I think with the addition of more Star Fox stuff, this game will definitely have my buy. Sometime this year, I'll get it. It looks kind of fun. The new update. I believe it's a free update, which is really fun, which is really nice as well. And I definitely think Switch is the definitive way to play this game. Not just with the portability aspect, but you basically get the game, plus you get Star Fox stuff. Like, that's awesome. You get Star Fox stuff, and you don't get that with the PlayStation or Xbox version of the game, of course. And they're continuing to add more Star Fox stuff to the game. So that's awesome. Like I said, I didn't play the game, but after they showed the update, it kind of reminded me that, yeah, I should probably pick the game up. So I'll definitely be looking into that. Then we got Yoshi. I'm excited for Yoshi. Yoshi's been a game that I've not played a lot of Yoshi games. I haven't played a lot of Yoshi games, but the few Yoshi games that I've played have been very, very fun. So I'm excited for, is it Crafted World? Yoshi's Crafted World, I believe. It's set for March 29th. There's actually a demo out now, which kind of is surprising, kind of not. There's actually, we'll talk about this as well as we move throughout the rest of the direct. There are actually quite a few other, like, out now type releases, which is cool. Whether they be free games or paid games, and the Yoshi demo was one of them. It's out now. You can play through it. I think you can play through like the first course. And the cool thing about the game is you can actually play the courses twice, because you play through it once from like left to right, and then you basically, go behind the stage and you can play it right to left. And I actually played the demo. I didn't play through all of it. I played through a lot of like the main or the first course. I think there might have been more for me to do. I'll definitely have to go back to it and finish it and see what else there is. But the demo was actually pretty fun. I did notice kind of some almost frame rate issues, and I played it on handheld mode, and it didn't look the best, but it looks fun enough, and I think that the issues that I had will definitely be patched and fixed before the full game's release. We still have over a month to go for this game. It comes out at the end of March. We're only like halfway through February, so I think by then we'll be fine. I'm definitely picking this game up day one, though. It looks a lot of fun. But we did see some gameplay. The game looks so much fun. And playing the demo, too, it is such a fun game. And being able to interact with the world, it's something that you don't... I can't really name too many other platformers that have done that the way this game has, where you actually interact with the background and you actually interact with the world that you're in, or the courses and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. And they also announced that there are over 180 costumes to collect. That's a lot of costumes. That's gonna be a lot of fun collecting those. They showed off that I think there was like a Nintendo Labo one that looked kind of cool. They did say that obviously some costumes were going to be rare or harder to collect than others, but all in all, the game so far, with my experience of the demo, it's been pretty fun. I definitely think there's some stuff that they can work on and fix, but like I said, we still have over a month to go, and I'm sure a big release like Yoshi, which is going to be kind of outside of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, it's going to be the first big release for Switch this year. I definitely wouldn't say that Mario was a big release this year since it was a port and not really a big new title. So for Yoshi being the first big game of the year, I definitely think Nintendo's going to fix some stuff up regarding the game. And I think it's going to be fun. I have no problems with the game. I have no issues with it. But moving on, Fire Emblem. We got a ton of information regarding Fire Emblem Three Houses, including a release date of July 26th. So apparently this game was actually announced to have a spring release this year. I must have missed that. Or maybe I put it off in the back of my mind. I didn't even realize that. I think after the Direct, I was like, was it really supposed to come out spring? I think I slightly remember that because I was excited for that. Because I think late last year I did like a predictions list of all the games that Nintendo announced for 2019. And I kind of predicted a release date for them. And I think I did end up giving Fire Emblem a spring release based off that announcement. I forgot that at first. But another game that's slightly delayed, kind of the same thing with Yoshi, that was supposed to come out last year. Obviously, Metroid Prime got a complete reboot in development. Fire Emblem is now getting pushed back. Not that long. I mean, from spring to midsummer. Not that long. It is, like I said, July 26th. I don't think it's that bad. I would have loved it being spring. I would have loved it like pre-E3. But July, it's not, I mean, I can wait. I'd rather wait for a good game than play now a rushed game. So, I mean, there you go. But regarding Fire Emblem, we did see a lot of gameplay. They also showed off basically a lot of like info regarding the story. They kind of similar to what we talked about earlier with Dragon Quest. They just really went in depth with this. And I know they announced, when they announced the Direct, they said that there will be Fire Emblem. So I definitely expected them to really hone in and focus on Fire Emblem. But I don't know. I almost feel like they showed off stuff that we could have figured out upon playing the first like 30 minutes of the game or first hour of the game. Basically, there are 3 houses, and I'm really glad that there's not 3 versions of the game like Fates. In Fates and Fire Emblem Fates for 3DS, there's 2 families. There's Birthright and Conquest, and they kind of pulled a Pokemon on us where they were packaged as 2 different SKUs, 2 different games, and I'm really glad they didn't do that this time. I feel like that's something they could have, each house be its own game, but they didn't, thankfully, which kind of makes me wonder. I mean, I guess they already did it with Pokemon Let's Go. I was going to say, I wonder if they'll do that with Pokemon. They already did it with the Let's Go. I don't think Nintendo has a problem selling 2 Pokemon games, even at $60. I don't think they have a problem with it. But with Fire Emblem, it would definitely be a little more tricky, even though it's definitely gained more love and appreciation since Awakening. I think that was released in 2013. You know, over the past 5-6 years, it's definitely gotten more attention, more love. But I don't think releasing 3 separate games would do the series well, especially for its first take on the Switch. But going back to the story, there's basically 3 houses. Each house has students that you train. You are the teacher, and then you basically train them to kind of take on the bad guys, take on the enemies. And I'm kind of, it's definitely different from past Fire Emblem games. And I like that about Fire Emblem is that you can play, for the most part. By the way, my first Fire Emblem game was Awakening. So anything pre-Awakening, I don't know about. But I'm going on a hunch. I'm going to assume that if the pre-Awakening games are anything like post-Awakening, you really don't need to play them in order. You really don't need to play this game, then that game, then that game. You can, and I'm pretty sure with this being the first Fire Emblem game on Switch, Nintendo's really going to hone in on that and really make it so you can start here if you want, because each Fire Emblem game kind of plays differently than the previous, and the stories don't really intertwine all that much. And I like that. I definitely like that about this series. It's kind of like Pokemon in a way, where in reality you don't need to play X and Y in order to play Sun and Moon. You can play Sun and Moon and then go back to, Gold and Silver and then play Black and White. Obviously Black and White 2, those are actual direct sequels, but or Black 2 and White 2 are direct sequels, but you don't need to play them in order. You don't even need to play them really at all, play any previous game to understand the other. I like that about Pokemon. I like that about Fire Emblem. So the combat style, the storytelling, all of that can be different than other Fire Emblem games, and I like that. I appreciate that. It gives for a new experience every time. And like I said, especially for this being the first Fire Emblem game on Switch, I think Nintendo's really focusing on that, because they're probably expecting a lot of Switch owners to have never played a Fire Emblem game before. So making it so this can be your first game is definitely perfect. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first console Fire Emblem game in a long time. Like I said, I haven't played anything pre-Awakening, but I know there was no Fire Emblem game on Wii U. I don't think there was one on Wii. I'm pretty sure GameCube was probably the last system to get a Fire Emblem game, like a console Fire Emblem game. That's crazy. So that's exciting, and the idea that you can also bring this game with you portably is really cool. And I'm loving that about the Switch, because the Switch is getting console Mario games, console Zelda games, console Smash Bros games, and we're getting those big games that Wii U never really got. And the graphics are nicer, the frame rate's higher, the stories are better, the games can be bigger, everything's just better. And then alongside of that, since it's a console that you can take with you on the go, that hybrid nature plays into effect. And we can take these on the go and play them on our handheld as well. As much as I love the 3DS, and I've owned one for many, many years, and I own 100 games or more on 3DS. I own 1,000 maybe. I love my 3DS. But the games on there, especially when you compare it to a console, were lackluster. They didn't look that great. They could never be as big as a console version of that game. And so it's really cool to have the Switch be a console to play these console games, but also it's still a handheld. And I don't know. I think that's great. And I think this Fire Emblem release is really making me realize that even more now. But either way, again, they showed off a lot. Like I said, you're basically a teacher at these three houses, teaching the students. I think it's really cool. You can basically pin like the students against each other to train them, level them up. I'm sure, like previous Fire Emblems, there's gonna be a lot of like character development, lore relationships, character development between one another. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to have this on Switch. I'm excited to be able to be at home playing this on my big screen TV, but also take this with me anywhere. I'm very, very excited for this. I again, I think they showed off maybe a little too much regarding the story, but at the same time, they're building hype, and I feel like Nintendo felt like they had to give us something, so I'll take it. Either way, Fire Emblem with 3 houses. I'm excited. July 26th. Hopefully you are as well. Moving on, next game. We are getting, I don't know what timeline we're in. I don't know what universe we're in. Fortnite, I sleep. Apex Legends, I sleep. Tetris Battle Royale is a free Tetris online game if you have a Nintendo Switch Online, and you go up against, 99 other players and battle to see who is the best Tetris player. And I've been playing this quite a bit on Switch, and I have to say, the idea at first was like, huh? What? It was out there, but the execution is so nice. This is such a fun game. If you have Nintendo Switch Online, you get the game for free, basically. It's kind of like what they did. It's kind of like what they did with basically the NES games or the Famicom games. It's a free download if you have Nintendo Switch Online, and it is fun. I'm still getting used to the I guess the mechanics of the game, because for some reason somebody keeps throwing gray blocks my way. But it's such an addictive and fun game. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's definitely interesting. But Tetris 99, like I said, it's available right now if you have Nintendo Switch Online, and that's kind of all they showed of it. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's Tetris Battle Royale. They also did announce that online events are coming, which I'm definitely excited to partake in. So that's going to be interesting. But Tetris 99, it's available now. It's free if you have Nintendo Switch Online. Another free game that's not available now, but it's coming out in by the end of February. Deltarune. So Deltarune Chapter 1 is going to be free. You can actually pre-download it right now. By the way, I think I forgot to mention with Yoshi, it is pre-purchasable from the eShop, just so you know. So if you want to pick up Yoshi, you can pre-download it now from the eShop, just so you know. But Deltarune Chapter 1 is available for free on February 28th. And I've played Undertale, and I really don't get the hype. I really don't. It wasn't a bad game, and it wasn't awful. It shouldn't be, thrown in the dumpster. But it definitely wasn't good enough to be as praised as it is. I don't know. Maybe I played it under the wrong, I don't know. Maybe I played in the wrong setting or played it with the wrong mindset, but either way, if you enjoy Undertale, you do you. More power to you. Deltarune, kind of, from what I've heard, it acts as kind of like an unofficial sequel. And I think even, is it Toby Fox? Is he the one who made the game? I think it's Toby Fox. He even said, Deltarune, for people who played Undertale. So I don't know if it's necessarily a sequel, but it's kind of like in that universe. It's kind of like, I would assume it's kind of like Infinity War. You don't need to have watched any of the other Marvel movies, but it kind of helps. I have a feeling, in Infinity War, it's in that setting. You should probably watch the other ones. I feel like it's kind of like that. It's not necessarily a sequel where you have to play Undertale in order to understand it, but it probably helps, and it probably makes sense since it's in that universe. But Chapter 1 is free. More chapters, though, will be coming at a price. So, and plus, Undertale right now in the eShop, and I believe also, I think also on PlayStation, is 33% off right now. So if you've been meaning to pick up Undertale, now's the time. It's 33% off, just in time for you to play it before Deltarune comes out. And I loved it. If anything about the trailer, I loved the announcement for this game, because there were dogs everywhere, basically hiding these spoilers from the game, and I loved it. I absolutely loved that. It was kind of fun. There's just so many dogs on the screen hiding spoilers. Can you imagine Doggo from chapter doggo. Like they didn't show the chapter number or really what was happening. They replaced it with a dog. It was kind of funny. I really liked the trailer. Unfortunately, at the end it said not this many dogs in final game. Man, I would buy this game if there were that many dogs. Brain more dogs. Brain more dogs. But either way, Deltarune is coming to Switch. I think it's also coming to PS4. Of course, it was released earlier. I think actually last year at some point it was released as kind of like a program file that you could download and test out. It was basically a demo of sorts on PC. So it's kind of exciting that it's coming to console, Switch included. So that is out. Again, Chapter 1 is available for free. You can pre-download it now, and it is playable on February 28th. Another free game that's actually available right now is the Daemon X Machina. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Daemon X Machina. The demo is out now, and I've played a little bit of the demo, and my goodness, is this game amazing. This game is so much fun. It's got the one issue that I will say. Actually, before I get into that, let me finish the rest of the news regarding the game. So the game is still in development, and it's planned for a release this summer. Like I said, this summer is packed full of games, but it's planned for a release of this summer. The demo's out now. Some select people, I should probably check my email to see if I'm included in this, but some people will be emailed to take a quick survey if you download the game. It's available now to download. You may get a potential email with a survey on how you're enjoying the game, what could be improved, stuff like that. The developer also encouraged feedback through Twitter, and I believe you can add the Nintendo America Nintendo account. I don't know I know they did something very similar with like Octopath Traveler, where they released that demo, and I'm pretty sure you could also leave feedback. But other than that, and maybe like, I don't know, I can't, not a lot of developers would go out of their way to release a demo, let alone release a demo and ask for feedback like that. And I think that goes to show how much Nintendo and the companies working with Nintendo care about that stuff. And it makes me really appreciate developers who go out of their way to ask for feedback and who go out of their way to email you a survey. I can't express how much I appreciate that in a world where so many games like Fallout 76, for example, are just rushed out for the sake of making money and for the sake of capitalizing and monetizing on in-game stuff and treating their players like coin machines. And to sit here and ask for feedback and to sit here and say, it's not ready yet, but here's a snippet of what's going to be like. Try it out. Let us know. We're still in development. Give us feedback. It's this plus like the Metroid Prime announcement that we got earlier. It really goes to show how much Nintendo cares. And you can say what you want. And I'm not saying that every Nintendo game ever has been quality, especially on Switch. I'm not saying every Nintendo game has been quality, but you can't sit here and say that they don't care. They definitely put their heart and soul into it. And even companies, I don't know the developer that's actually behind Daemon X Machina, but even them, like, they care. And I think that's more than other companies. I think they care more than other companies do. And it's incredible. And it's really amazing. And so please download the demo. It's out now. I played through a little bit of it. It's such a fun game. I'll definitely be leaving my feedback. I'm actually putting together my thoughts and opinions on the game. My biggest gripe with the game, I played through this mostly in all handheld mode. I've yet to play it docked. I'll do my second round of the demo docked, actually. But the one thing I will say is to clean up the graphics and textures a bit. Not because, it looks bad, it doesn't look good, it's not 1080p, yada yada. No. It's hard to tell where enemies are. Like, playing the game, it was kind of hard to tell where or what I needed to shoot. because enemies kind of blended in with the background, or else they blended in with buildings or something else, and it makes the game hard to play. So that's the one thing I will say, is just to clean up. I don't know if it's the graphics overall or the textures or whatnot, but the game needs to visually look cleaner and sharper, because it is hard to tell where to shoot enemies, and with that being a big part of the game, that's kind of not good, that it's hard to tell where to shoot. So that's the one feedback I'd give. Otherwise, I think it was kind of fun. It was really enjoyable. I've yet to, like I said, I haven't played the entire demo. I've been playing some other free games on Switch and just some other games in general. But that's the one advice that I would give, is to just clean it up a little bit visually, because it is kind of hard to tell where to shoot, what to do. But otherwise, it's fun. And like I said, development, or release, I mean, is currently planned for this summer. So hopefully by then, they take into account all the feedback they get, and they get it cleaned up a bit and ready for release. Speaking of a game that doesn't look good, Dead by Daylight. Hide and seek your way on Nintendo Switch this fall. Man, this game, I know this game doesn't look all that pretty on other systems, but my god, this looked like a PS2 game. What on earth? Yeah, when they, honestly, I was shocked that Nintendo would even showcase this in their Direct, with how awful this looked. There's another game that I'll mention as well that just looked awful. I don't know if it was, I doubt because of the stream. I think it was just the gameplay I think it's the gameplay itself. Look, I know the Switch isn't the most powerful thing out there, but come on now. If you're going to release a game on it, make it look good. Make it look at least on par with the other systems. Like, I understand that it can't look as good as maybe a PS4 Pro or PC, but come on now. Like, I don't know. The game just, it looked choppy. Frame rate looked bad. Even on menus, even on like the still character select or menus, it looked ugly. It looked hideous. So, oh my goodness. But either way, for those of you who don't know what Dead by Daylight is, it's basically a hide and seek game. One person plays as a killer, and I think there's 3 or 4 others who play as survivors. And you'll run around a map. You can set traps, and you basically try to escape from a killer. There's a handful of killers, and each have their own unique styles and personalities and traps and I guess abilities of sorts. I think I have it on PlayStation. I think it was free on PlayStation 1 month. And I think I picked it up on PC as well. I've yet to play it, but I mean, it looks fun. But my god, does it just look awful on Switch? I can't even imagine. But it's set for a fall release, which is perfect for Halloween. So, I mean, they have plenty of time. They have plenty of time to get this game fixed before then. I don't know. It's just, it's crazy. It's insane how bad this game looks. But either way, they have until fall to hopefully fix it up. So, there's that. I want to run through some other games real quick. Grid Autosport, another game that kind of sets itself on realism, and it looked better than Dead by Daylight. I would still say it didn't look all that great, but it's another racing game. It's set for this summer. I'm not huge into racing games outside of Mario Kart, but that's that. That's all I have to say on it. I just thought I'd mention it. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice is set for a release this spring, and I think I'm gonna buy this game. I think I'm gonna pick this game up. This is a game that kind of piqued my interest on PC. It's a $30 game. I think it's pretty short. I think it might be like 7 hours, or maybe like 6, 7, 8 hours or something like that. It looks like a short, little, fun game, and I heard good things about it. I've heard good things on PC, and I'm glad it's coming to Switch. I am surprised it's coming to Switch. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard as well, this was actually like a PlayStation, or it came out first on PlayStation. But the developers behind this game is actually owned by Microsoft now, which is kind of surprising, because I thought with Microsoft buying out a ton of companies, it would be for exclusives on their own system. But then come to find out this game is on PC and, well, I guess other Microsoft games are on PC, but it's on PC, PlayStation, and now Switch. Hey, I'm not complaining. I'll pick this game up. I think it's $30 on Steam, so if it carries over that same price point on Switch, yeah, I'll pick it up. It looks fun. And it actually looked really good on the Direct. I don't know if it was gameplay from PC or another system, or if it was like in-game something, but it actually looked really good. And looking at screenshots that were released after the Direct, it actually looks really, really good, especially compared to Dead by Daylight. So yeah, that's set for a spring release. I'll definitely be picking that up. Then Nintendo did a little highlight reel. They went over some announcements for Switch. Some of these we knew were coming. Some of them we didn't. I'm surprised they just threw them in a highlight reel. The first game, of course, is Mortal Kombat 11. And I think this is releasing on April 23rd? April 26th? 26th is a Friday. I'm assuming that's when it's releasing. And I'm pretty sure that's when PlayStation, Xbox, and PC is getting the game. So I'm glad to hear it's a day and date release. And only Nintendo would show off a Mortal Kombat trailer without any blood. I don't think there was an ounce of blood in the Mortal Kombat trailer for the Direct, which I thought was amusing. So Nintendo. But Mortal Kombat 11 on its way to Switch. We've known about this. So that's that. Games that we didn't know. Unravel 2. I've played a little bit of the first Unravel. I just wasn't really a big fan of it. I don't know. I couldn't finish it. If the first Unravel was on Switch, I think I'd actually play it. But Unravel 2 is coming to Switch. And this game, I think, was announced last E3. And this was a available now type game where it was available like right then and there. And it wasn't available for Switch at that point. And I think the developers basically said something along the lines of it would have slowed down production or development across all other platforms. And they just wanted to get it out then and there. But it's available now. I think it would have been a perfect fit for Switch at launch. But it's out now like half a year later. So if you guys don't know what Unravel is, it basically stars Yarny. A little, I guess, figurine of sorts made out of yarn. And it's a platformer type game. You swing, you jump, you hop over things. It's actually pretty fun. I've played a little bit of the first one, like I said, and it's a pretty fun game. I definitely feel like going back and playing through that. I haven't had a PlayStation. I just have yet to actually finish it. But I'm excited for Unravel 2 coming to Switch. It's a perfect fit. And there's actually a buddy in this game. I don't know what the second character is called, but the characters are red and blue. They're literally the Joy-Con. Like, either way. It's such a perfect fit for Switch. I think it's going to have a home here, and I'm excited to see that coming to Switch. I don't think there was a release date. I'm not sure about that, but either way, it's coming. Another game that got announced, I think like a week or two ago, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is coming to Nintendo Switch. I think it was announced like a week or two ago on PlayStation and Xbox, but now it's making its way to Switch. And this is that other game that I was talking about that didn't look so great, kind of like Dead by Daylight. For a game that's supposed to be remastered, man, this game barely looks better than the PS3 360 version. Frame rate looked choppy. The overall graphics looked meh. The game just looked rough. And again, it's one of those games where I gotta ask, why show this in a Direct? Why show this in the Direct? It just, I don't know, maybe this will get cleaned up and polished better before release. I don't know when this game's actually set to release. Let me actually see if March 29th. Oh, with Yoshi. Okay. So Assassin's Creed, okay, it's coming out March 29th. Let me see. I don't know. Oh, it'll be available on Nintendo Switch on May 21st. So it's coming out March 29th. That's a long time to wait. But hey, I mean, I don't know. That's all. I didn't even realize that until now. That's a long time to wait. I really, I mean, look, if the delay between releases. By the way, I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan, so it's not like this affects me at all. I enjoyed, was it Origins? I like that one, but other than that, I've never been big into the Assassin's Creed games. But if that delay between releases is to fix the game and polish it up, like I said, it looks bad right now on Switch, but if this wait is to clean up the game and polish it and get it more optimized, then sure, it's worth the wait. But I feel like by now, with how long the Switch has been out, not releasing your game day and date with other systems is it's almost I don't know. It's just, this is something that I hope Doom doesn't do. You know, this is something that I was hoping Mortal Kombat wouldn't do, and I don't mind it if it's to fix the game or finish the game or make it more ready. But that wait, man, I guess I didn't even realize that. I mean, there's like a month gap there. Like a month and a half almost. So either way, that's interesting. I didn't even realize that. But either way, moving on. It also comes with a remaster of what I think was a PlayStation Vita title, Liberation. You also get, I'm assuming like you get all of the DLC associated with that in the Liberation game. And the cool thing is, if you have, it's not available on Switch, but if you have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if you have the season pass, you get the remaster for free, which I think is really cool. So if you have Odyssey on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, if you have the season pass, you get the remaster plus the Liberation remaster for free, which is pretty cool. But releasing May 21st, there are it looks like there's going to be motion control and touch-based gameplay, which is always nice to see added. Moving on with the highlight reel, though, Final Fantasy IX is $20.99 and is available now on the eShop. So go pick that up. I know there's a lot of people who enjoy Final Fantasy, so go pick that game up now. Final Fantasy VII, still not out on Switch. I'm pretty sure it's coming out. I think it said it was coming out like spring or something like that. It really doesn't shock me that Final Fantasy IX is released now. I'm sure there's a lot of people who want their Final Fantasy fix on Switch, so they'll buy the game now, and then when Final Fantasy VII comes out, they can't resist, and they'll double dip, and they'll buy that game as well. So I'll wait. I've heard better things about 7 than 9. I've never been a big Final Fantasy guy, but maybe I'll check out Final Fantasy 7. I've heard really good things about it, and I think I'd pick up that before 9, just because I've heard more good things about 7 than 9. But Final Fantasy 7 is still on the way. Final Fantasy 9 is available now. Moving on, I know I'm running a little lengthy here. We're running pretty long, but moving on, we got a look at Astral Chain, which is in development by Platinum. It is a futuristic kind of police robot alien game of some sort. All I know is that the soundtrack was flames. The soundtrack was amazing. But the game it's a Platinum game, which means that it's definitely kind of like a very specific niche type of game. I can't wait to see more. I'm hoping it has a release date of August 3rd, 2019. So it has a release date. Another summer game, for goodness sake. I'm hoping Nintendo shows off more at E3 because they showed off quite a bit at the Direct. This was one of the last games shown off. But actually one of the last two. But it looked kind of interesting. It looked, like I said, kind of futuristic. There's like police that are fighting these like robots and aliens, and it was kind of a I don't know, just a very like out there game, and I'm not usually a fan of those games, but hopefully Nintendo shows off more. It looked very interesting though, and I think there's a lot into the game, like a lot more into it than what was shown, so that was exciting. We also got a minute to hear that Bayonetta 3 is still in development. So Platinum is developing this Astral Chain, but I'm sure there's two different teams. I'm sure a team is working on Astral Chain and a team is working on Bayonetta 3. So Bayonetta 3 is still in development. We haven't heard anything more than that. So no release date, no release window, nothing like that. I would be kind of surprised if it ends up being a 2019 game. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it released later this year. But I'm pretty sure that's probably not coming out this year. The final game that was shown, which was a surprise to me and I'm sure many others, Zelda Link's Awakening is getting a remake. It's getting a remake. It's set for release of 2019. And I've never played Link's Awakening. I feel like this is one of those games, or one of those Zelda games that I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. But when people do talk about it, man, there's passion behind this game. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, and from what I seen, there was like ching chops and Goombas and funky, goofy stuff. This looked like a really far out Zelda game. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. It's definitely going to be. By the way, this is a remake of, I believe it was a Game Boy Color game released in like '93. So it's a pretty old game. I mean, it's over 20 years now. It has a new art style, which I really, really enjoy. It's kind of like this, almost like, it reminds me of like old Christmas cartoons, like old Christmas shows. It has kind of like that, like a claymation, like a clay kind of toy figurine type feel. I love that art style. I love it so much. I'm in love with it. I love when Nintendo, especially with like the Mario games and the Zelda games, and I know they've done this with Yoshi and Kirby in the past, when they experiment with art styles. Like, I don't know, like getting a game like Breath of the Wild or this Link's Awakening remake, I prefer those art styles over realistic, because it's more fun, it's more colorful, it's more video game-y, if that's a word. I love the art style so much. It looks like I said, kind of like clay toy figurines. It looks so beautiful. It looks so nice. And I've seen some screenshots, like back-to-back screenshots from the original game and the remake. And it looks like Nintendo is staying very true to the original game. Of course, with this new updated art style. I love it so much. It looks so nice. And it is a top-down 2D Zelda, of course. So this is going to be very different to play after playing Breath of the Wild. A big 3D open world, go anywhere, do anything type game. Link's Awakening seems like it's a top-down game. It's probably going to be a little more restricted and linear. Like I said, this was a 1993 Zelda. And it's going to be kind of interesting playing a Zelda game like this after playing Breath of the Wild. I'm excited for it. I'll buy it. I mean, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely intriguing. And of all the games, it's kind of interesting that this was the one that got chosen, but I am glad that it's not on 3DS, though. I'm glad that it's not on 3DS. I'm glad it's on Switch. Look, the 3DS has had a great run. The 3DS it's been out for what, like 8 years on the shelves. It's had a great run. It has a huge library. I think as one of, if not the best library. It has such a huge library. It is amazing, but it's time for it to go to sleep. And I'm glad that this remake is coming to Switch and not 3DS. But all in all, the game looks amazing. I like I said, I really love the art style. It looks like a goofy, kind of out of left field type Zelda game with like Ching Chomp and Goombas and just tons of like different stuff. So I really don't want to see too much of the game because I don't want to be spoiled with that. But either way, that is the direct. Let me run through my notes. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. There were a couple other games that I didn't mention just because I'm really not interested in them and I don't want to talk about them. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything. It was, like I said, I think there was like 26, 27 games in 35 minutes. That's insane. That's great. All in all, my final thoughts on the Direct, based on everything that was showcased, I think I would give this a strong 8 out of 10. It was fantastic. It was great. I would say it was an amazing direct. We got a new Mario Maker. We got updates for Captain Toad and Smash, Starlink coming. We got some free games like Deltarune, Yoshi demo, Daemon X Machina demo, plus Tetris 99, which is very addictive. Some new games like Astro Chain, which are very much not my cup of tea, but make me want to buy it. Zelda Link's Awakening remake, which looks amazing. I mean, I think I would have loved to see Animal Crossing gameplay and a release window of sorts. But, and am I disappointed? Yes. But I'm not disappointed with the direct as a whole. And I understand if others are disappointed. Nintendo has so many franchises, so many games, that it's impossible for them to have a direct or go to E3 and not disappoint somebody. Do you know what I mean? There's so many Nintendo games that, yeah, there's no way that they were going to show off all of these games that they announced, plus Star Fox and F-Zero and Animal Crossing and a new this and a new that, and yeah, somebody's going to get disappointed and something's going to get left out. But as a whole, I wouldn't say I was disappointed with the direct. There's a ton of great third-party games coming. We would have never got a direct like this with the Wii U, ever, in a million years. There's so many great second-party titles on their way to Switch. Third-party support is coming, even though if they're Assassin's Creed and they're getting delayed. First-party is top-notch. I mean, it's just, there's so many games coming out, especially in the summer. I'm very interested in what Nintendo has up their sleeves for E3, because fall, it's not looking bare bones. I mean, we still have Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, a couple other games on the way that can definitely be fall titles. Pokemon as well. But man, this was a packed direct, and there was, besides like maybe discussing Fire Emblem and Dragon Quest, and maybe like one or two other smaller games that they showcased, there really wasn't slow moments. The pacing was pretty good. The game announcements were just fast. They kept coming. I would say a strong 8 out of 10. This was a great direct. It was, I would say, yeah, it was a great direct. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't the best thing ever. But for the first direct of 2019 and for a direct before E3, it had a lot going for it. It had a lot of hype behind it. And I think Nintendo delivered. And I think overall it was great. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this direct. Give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, out of 10. And let me know what were your highlights of the direct as well. Before we wrap it up, I do want to go ahead and do a little segment. What I've been playing every week here on the show. I want to talk about 1 to 2 games, maybe 3, depending on how many I've been playing. But basically talk about games that I've been playing throughout the week. And obviously, like I said, I've played the Yoshi demo, the Daemon X Machina demo, as well as Tetris 99 and some of those games. But the 2 games that I've been playing the most throughout this week are definitely Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I can't get enough of this game. I was a huge... actually, Smash Wii U was my first Smash Bros. And I was addicted to it. I loved it. And Smash Bros. Ultimate, it has me. I can't get enough of this game. I play this game literally like every day. Like every night, I have to play a little bit of this game. I love it so much. The huge roster is definitely one of my favorite things about the game. Having so many characters to choose from, yet for some reason I seem to constantly pick the same 1 or 2 characters. But all in all, mostly playing online quick play. I haven't played a lot of I've played a little bit of World of Light. Surprisingly, I haven't played a lot of it. I'm mostly just playing online. I really do like the online multiplayer. I think a couple I don't know which update it was, but there was an update that kind of fixed matchmaking, and I pretty much get people with my settings now, with my 3 stocks, 7 minutes, specific stages type thing. Like, that's how I like to play Smash personally. So I've mostly been getting other players with those settings, with those rule sets, which is always nice. I haven't been getting a lot of four people crazy shifting stages or anything like that. They've come and gone, but mostly I've been playing people with my preferred rules, which is always nice. So definitely getting my fix of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I've been playing it pretty much every day since it came out, and with the constant releases of DLC throughout its life, it's definitely going to be one of the best and probably longest games on Switch. The longevity of this game is going to be amazing, and all in all, I love it. It's a lot of fun. The other game I've been playing a lot is Dead Cells. I recently picked this game up along with Binding of Isaac earlier this month. I haven't been playing Binding of Isaac nearly as much as Dead Cells, but Dead Cells I actually bought on PC when it was in early access. I enjoyed it, but I enjoy it more on Switch. I don't know why, but being able to just play in portable mode and then pop it in my dock and play it on the big screen TV, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of like a Metroidvania platformer where you basically go through different runs and you try to see how far you get. There's enemies and different abilities and different items and different weapons and stuff like that. And you basically go through and you can do a million runs. And you can die, but you don't lose your progression. You don't lose your items. At the beginning of the next run, you can have everything from that previous run. And playing through the game and doing the multiple runs normally isn't something that I'd be a fan of. But the game does such a good job of teaching you what you need in order to improve upon the next run and in order to actually get farther or make it to the end. And you end up picking up on tips or you end up picking up on like enemy movement or what item or what weapon works the best, or you kind of realize what you need to do in order to make the next run even better. I really enjoy it. I've been playing this game a lot this past week and since I've purchased it. It's a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. I think it's $30 on the eShop. Highly recommend it. Such a fun game. And like I said, it fits perfect on that portability because it is such a pick up and play type game. But then you can also bring it home, put it in the dock, and play through a little bit on your big screen. And it's definitely one of my favorite Switch games. I'm definitely going to be putting a lot of time into this game. So Dead Cells, Smash Bros. Those are the games that I've been playing this week. But with that said, that's all the time we've got. If you enjoyed episode 1 of the brand new Joy-Con cast, be sure to leave a like and a comment on the video. Share it with a friend if you can. And if you want to support the show, check out the Patreon. Link is in the description down below. If you want to follow the show and get updates on Twitter, you can also find the link in the description as well. And if you want to join the Joy-Con Cast community Discord, you can also find the link once again in the description. Thank you for watching episode 1. And until next time, have yourself a good one.